Half the things you've agreed to, you agreed to just to fill a silence. Think about the last time someone asked you for something and there was that tiny pause after. That little hole in the conversation. And before you'd even really decided, you heard yourself say, yeah, sure, okay, not because you wanted to. Because the quiet got unbearable and saying yes was the fastest way to make it stop. Here's the question. Why does an empty couple of seconds feel so physically awful that you'll commit to things you don't want, just to end it? Let's get into what's actually happening. Your brain treats silence in a conversation like a problem it has to solve. A gap of 2 or 3 seconds, which is nothing, starts to feel like an emergency. And there's a reason for that. For most of human history, a sudden silence between people meant something went wrong. Tension, disapproval, a threat. So your nervous system learned to read a pause as danger, and it pushes you to close it fast with almost anything. A word, a laugh, an agreement. The content doesn't matter to your brain, filling the hole does. And other people figured this out, even if they couldn't explain it. Anyone who stays quiet after you finish talking can make you keep talking, and you won't even notice they did it. You answer their question, then they just pause, say nothing. And that silence feels so wrong that you start filling it. You over-explain, you add a detail you meant to keep, you walk back what you just said. A good interviewer does this on purpose, a good negotiator too. They don't pull information out of you, they just leave a gap and let your own discomfort hand it over. So who in your life goes quiet and watches you scramble? That's the thing. The silence does the work. The other person doesn't have to push, because you'll push yourself just to make the quiet end. And it shows up in the smallest moments too. Someone pays you a compliment, and instead of just saying thank you, you rush to deflect it, because the half second of you sitting there being admired feels too exposed. Or you tell a joke nobody laughs right away, and in that 1 second of silence you're already apologizing for it, explaining it, killing it. The pause wasn't even rejection. Your brain just couldn't sit in it long enough to find out. Now here's where it gets a little worse. The pressure to fill silence doesn't just make you talk, it makes you agree. When the quiet gets uncomfortable, yes is the fastest way out, and that's exactly why you regret half of them. Someone asks you to help them move, to take on the extra project, to come to the thing you don't want to go to. And there's that pause. Saying no needs a reason, an explanation, a whole awkward moment. Saying yes ends it instantly. So you say yes, not because you decided to, but because yes was the emergency exit from 3 seconds of silence. You didn't choose, you escaped. And then you spend a week paying for something you agreed to in a moment you just wanted to end. Sit with how often that's happened. The yes that wasn't really a yes. It was just you reaching for the nearest off switch. And this is why some people seem to have so much more power in a room, by the way. It's not that they're louder. It's that they're comfortable with the gap. They can ask a question and just wait. They can let a silence stretch without flinching, and everyone else in the room feels that pressure building and rushes to fill it. The calm one isn't winning by talking more. They're winning by being the only person who can stand the quiet. So here's something I want you to actually test. Next time someone asks you for something, do nothing for 3 full seconds before you answer. Don't fill it. Just let the silence sit there and feel as awful as it wants to. That pause is where your real answer lives, the one that got skipped every other time. Because in those 3 seconds, your actual opinion finally catches up to your mouth. You'll be shocked how often the honest answer was no, and you almost said yes just to escape the quiet. The discomfort doesn't kill you. It just hands you back the choice. It feels rude at first. It isn't. A 3-second pause feels like forever from the inside and looks completely normal from the outside. Nobody on the other end is counting. They just see someone who actually thought about it. And do this enough, and something changes in how people treat you. When you stop rushing to fill every gap, your words start to carry more weight because they sound chosen instead of leaked. The person who pauses before answering reads as thoughtful, even as a little hard to read, and that quiet steadiness pulls people toward you instead of letting them steer you. So here's the thing to walk away with. The silence in a conversation was never the danger. The danger was what you'd give away just to end it. A favor? An opinion? A yes you didn't mean. Learn to sit in the gap, even for 3 seconds, and you stop handing pieces of yourself to anyone willing to wait. If this made something click, a like genuinely helps the channel out. And if you're into this, me taking apart the quiet stuff that runs how people actually behave, hit subscribe. I do a new one every week. I'm curious about one thing. What's something you said yes to just to end an awkward silence, and regretted? Tell me, I read every comment.